What's in the box? Nothing. Hey, what's up people, it's TTC, and today we've got something kind of fun and unique to take a look at because I have got absolutely no idea what's inside this box. I decided it'd be fun to open up something blind, so I basically went to eBay, filled my basket full of crap, and then I left it probably 2 or 3 days, just long enough for me to forget what was actually in there. And then I got my wife to just pick something totally at random, don't tell me what it is, and we'll find out when it arrives. So this genuinely could be anything. I do know I had saved some Marvel Legends, a couple of Star Wars bits, I think there was a couple of Batman figures in there as well. Like, this literally could be anything, so let's shut up waffling on and just open the bastard thing. Ah. Hey, that was deceptive, fitting all this in such a small box. There are no instructions. How the hell am I gonna put this together? No, that wasn't so hard. As you can see, it's a 3 3/4 homing spider droid. I hate to ruin the illusion of the pure white background, but we're gonna have to zoom out because this thing is huge. I mean, check that out, man. I really was not expecting something this big to come out of such a tiny box like that. I'm also now slightly nervous because I put absolutely no thought into where I'm gonna keep this thing. So obviously, you mostly see this in episode 2, but I wanted this to go with my Clone Wars collection. It's obviously got more of a real world look to it, but I think it'll fit in just fine. That dome in the middle is super nicely done. I'd say, at this scale, it's got just the right amount of sculpt and paint on it. It looks proper, like, rusty, almost, dirty. Like it's seen some shit. I really like that. I think it just adds something to it. It just makes it look more grotty. It's got all, your classic Star Wars random squares and rectangles and panel lines and screws and whatever. It just, helps it feel like it actually exists in a real world. And then up top there in the middle, you've got these little buttons or sensors. That's only quite a simple little detail, but just that little bit of paint on it actually helps it stand out quite a lot. And it sort of just breaks up all the grey in the silvers. And combined with these two little antennas at the top, it just helps it feel more like it's some kind of a machine or a droid rather than just a ball on legs. On the bottom here, he's got his little droid penis cannon thing. This isn't bad looking at all, I actually quite like this. It's got a nice range of motion on it, you can swivel it all the way around 360 degrees, and then there's actually a little hinge to shoot up and down. But I suppose if you hinged it all the way down, then there you go, you've actually got an extra leg in the middle. Pretty sure it is supposed to have a little red missile in it, but I couldn't care less about that, I would have took it out anyway, so I'm happy with it as it is. There should have actually been a second cannon on top. That's the only problem I've got with buying this second hand, is it actually came without it. I don't know though, I mean I don't think it actually looks that bad. It doesn't necessarily look like it's missing anything. The legs were a bit confusing to get on this thing because I couldn't at first tell which ones were the right and the left and which ones were front and back. I did realise later on it does actually say it in tiny little letters. But yeah, these are some impressive legs on this. I'm no expert on this droid, but it all looks pretty much accurate to me. Colour seems pretty much spot on to me, and there is actually just a small amount of paint weathering, just to dirty it up a little bit more. I really like that. And then these hinges at the top as well, it's actually pretty clever how these things work. So the way that they connect into the ball in the middle leaves them with actually quite a nice little bit of range forwards and backwards, just pivoting like that. And then these two bits here, they actually sort of like straighten out and hinge together so that you can go up and then down, but it also means sort of inwards and outwards. Sort of like a concertina. Clearly I've got no idea what I'm on about, but this is cool. I think in a real world scenario, like in the movies, that these things actually sort of slide up and down the legs, like a piston, so that you can go lower down and closer to the ground. That would have been cool to see, but I don't really mind them not being there. But now I'm thinking about it, they could have helped with this thing taking up just a little bit less space. There's a small, just little bit of Arabesk writing here on the legs on this orange part. At first I kind of thought maybe it said left and right, that would have been helpful. But now, whatever it says, it's literally the same thing on each leg, but hey, it looks cool. I like the way the feet work on this thing, because the way that it walks, it's never going to need like an ankle pivot or anything, is it? The legs literally just go, forward, back. So all these have really got on them is a hinge, and then by the way that they attach at the top, you've also got a bit of a swivel. Look at the range on this hinge though, I mean, it's probably more than you're ever going to need, but it helps it just remain sturdy when it's standing, and that's pretty damn important. I just noticed on this one though, the screw is pretty rusty. Let's flip it around and have a look at the back. I mean, obviously, it's a little bit bland. It's just a big grey ball. That's the whole point of this whole thing, really, isn't it? But it's still pretty cool the way that all the sculpted detail and that band running through the middle, the way it all carries on the back as well. Obviously, this came out before the time when Hasbro started just cheaping out by not bothering with the backs of any of this stuff. It's even got some of that rusty, dirty, sort of patina-like paint on the back too. And here it is with those leg hinges straightened right out as high off the ground as it'll go. And with them as low as they'll go, the ball stands about 7.5 inches off the ground. Obviously a bit taller if it had that top cannon. And then lengthwise, leg to leg, it stands about just under 13 inches right the way across. I really don't know where this is going to go. But of course, the first thing that you saw me take out of this box was a bag full of random droids, so let's get them open. Now, these weren't really the main reason why I bought this, it's just a nice little extra, innit? There's a few things here that I've got already, like this General Grievous, but the one I've got is the exact same mould as this, but it's more of a brighter white colour, where this is like a really, really dirty sort of off-white bone colour. It's kind of cool looking. I usually quite like things to be dirtied up just a little bit, but I don't know, this kind of looks like someone's wiped their ass with him or something. Still though, it's a half-decent mould for the time. You can clearly tell exactly who it's meant to be. All the major beats are there, even if the articulation is a little bit lacking. Everything just sort of hinges in and out a little bit, and then this swivel forearm is pointless. It does basically nothing. And the feet on this thing are useless. He cannot stand at all. The only way to get him even close is to sort of turn his feet inwards like he really gots to pee. The mask is a nice sculpt. It's the same as it was on all the other figures around this time, so, not really going to complain about that. I did at first think the eyes look pretty cool the way that they're done in this sort of much more natural colour, but I don't know. The closer you get, it's kind of too subtle. They're not even really that visible. It's actually, it's kind of crap. Overall, not a bad figure, but not one I need, so he'll just be going in a tub somewhere. And then to go with Grievous, we got one of his Magna Guards, and this is actually pretty cool. I do already have one of these, but it's a Magna Guard. You kind of need two, don't you? One on each side of Grievous, so I'm actually quite happy to get this. Although, it's going to need a bit of a clean, because what the hell is that in there? Where the hell did he keep these things? He comes with his little electric staff thing, and this one actually isn't that bad. It's pretty straight. The one I've already got is bent to hell and wiggly like some kind of snake or something. No matter how much heat I put on it, it will not go back. So it's nice to have one that's straight right off the bat. And it looks good just in a sort of resting, standing there, holding it, looking intimidating kind of pose. Which is good, because with the other arm trapped underneath that cloak, there's not a lot else he can do. Of course, you can take the cloak off and have it in both hands, which reveals the greatest gimmick of all time, squeezing his leg so he just sort of flicks it around a bit. And then there's these two battle droids, which is actually kind of a nice addition, because most of the battle droids in my collection are that sort of Geonosis colour. But this is that stupid older mould where the wrists don't move, so you can't get both hands on the gun. Man, I hate that. But, at least the rest of the joints are actually surprisingly quite stiff, considering this is a Phantom Menace figure. I don't know how it survived like this for that long. One thing that's not survived so well, though, is the backpack. These antennas have been, don't even look like they've been cut. I'm pretty sure they've been chewed off by someone. And I don't know if this one's some kind of knockoff or something. It seems to be the same mould as the other one, but there's no paint on it at all, and all the articulation's been stripped away. It's basically just a 5p away now. Only the shoulders and the hips move, and then I think there's a little bit of a swivel at the head. And the gun, in fact, now I'm looking at it, I'm pretty sure that the gun is actually part of the mould and it's just been painted. So you can't even take it out of the hand. I've honestly got no idea what this is. Even the head sculpt seems to mostly be the same as the other one, but there's no paint on this. I originally thought the eyes were at least painted, but I actually think they're just really dirty. I mean, this ain't great, but I suppose you could just stick it in the back of an army just to fill out some space. Then next we got a Super Battle Droid, which I'm actually sort of happy about, because all the Super Battle Droids in my collection are all the animated Clone Wars versions. So it's nice to see one of these, as I don't think I've actually had my hands on one since I was a child. But that leg is bent to hell, so he is never going to stand up. The articulation's still pretty limited on these, but it did enough as a kid that you were able to play with it, and it kind of brings back memories of that, so it's pretty cool, but no. This is another one that's just going to go in a tub somewhere. And then last but not least, we've got a Destroyer Droid, and this is that sort of weird version of it where it's got these spring-loaded sort of rocket launchers in the wrist for some reason. Was never a fan of that gimmick when I was a child, and Now it's pretty ugly to look at, isn't it? Most of the destroyer droids I've already got are actually done in that sort of shiny purple colour, so it is pretty cool to see this more reddish burgundy one. This did have that weird gimmick, didn't it, if I could find the switch. Yeah, well, you press this thing on the back and it just moves the arms in a way that they literally never moved. I mean, what the hell is that? I assume it's for throwing fisticuffs. Going back to the spider droid, there is actually a little hatch on top that you can open up so you can put figures in there. Not accurate at all, because I'm pretty sure this isn't a vehicle, it's just a droid itself. But it's a pretty cool option to have, and there is at least a seat and a couple of control panels sculpted in there. But it does seem kind of cramped though, like, I don't actually know who's going to fit in there. Let's have a bash with one of these battle droids. I mean, size-wise, he should, well, maybe if you bend the legs a little bit, fit in there pretty well. Yeah, there you go, that works. I highly doubt the super battle droid's going to fit in there. Maybe? Yeah, no. Nope, not at all. I mean, you could have him just hanging out the sunroof like a drunk white girl.
Woo! I'm on vacation, bitch!
Alright, let's see if there's enough space for some size comparisons. Alright, here's the droid STAP, and they seem to stack up mostly well enough size-wise. Not that you could tell, because I'm really struggling to get both these things in frame together. And here's a couple of standard clone troopers, and again, you know, it seems to be mostly accurate. For some reason, even though he's got a stand, Wolf does not want to stay upright. And then for no reason at all, there's a couple of 6-inch Black Series figures. And to be honest, if you didn't actually know, they kind of look like they do go together here. I mean, it's not like it looks awful, is it? So all in all, I'm actually really happy that this was in here. It's honestly one of the things that I completely forgot was even there. Obviously, when someone else is buying you something, you sort of start getting a little bit nervous about, oh, what the hell did I actually put in there? And oh my god, something's going to turn up I don't want, and then I'm going to have to pretend I liked it. But no, none of that. She actually did a really good job, and I don't know what it was like to watch it, but it was definitely fun for me to open something that I was completely oblivious to. I might get to do it again at some point, make this a bit more of a frequent thing, because this was fun. So don't forget to like this video, drop us a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Plenty more Star Wars videos coming, and hopefully an update on me actually finding somewhere to display this thing, because it's so big, man. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers. There you go. That works, right? I can keep it there.